You're enjoying Racing World. It's brought to you by Perspective Group. It's your global motorsport podcast show brought to you in conjunction with Race Control Magazine.
Welcome back to day 2 of our Nashville Super Speedway specials here on Racing World. And look at this, there's Kiwis everywhere out on the track. And I walk in along pit lane and I bump into a Kiwi as well. Man, what brought you to Nashville?
The racing.
The
music.
Yeah, well, Music City it is, of course. Downtown Street Parade the other day and all sorts of things. So, looking at this then, seeing as I've found you amongst the things, who are you thinking is going to win this race today?
It's got to be a Kiwi. Dixon, McLaughlin, first, second, either way. One of those two. Don't mind which order.
What about young Marcus Armstrong? Could he be the dark horse?
We could get 3 in a row. That would be fantastic.
3 in a row.
Top 10, definitely.
And what have you thought about Music City? It's a pretty vibey place, isn't it?
Yeah, it's big. A lot of fun. A lot of fun.
A lot of fun. That's actually what's sort of sums up the NTT INDYCAR Series and this final event here in Nashville. It's going to be a great race. Stay with us across the show as we get right into it. Speaking of Kiwis, you find another one. Steve Horn out here on the grid with Callum Hedge before the final Indy Next race for the season. Steve, great moment for Callum, isn't it?
Yeah, look, Callum's obviously a future star. We still breed them in New Zealand. We call it a driver factory. He's had an excellent season, a bit up and down, but it's great, to see the development of young Kiwi drivers. Both Callum and Liam Skeets have done New Zealand really proud on motorsports.
It says a lot about the depth that we've got and the depth that we're continuing to make as well down there. But great things from yourself, the Tony Quinn Foundation, everyone involved in that to get this black car here on the grid.
Yes, that's right, and obviously the Giltrap Group have helped us as well. But as I say, New Zealand's a driver factory, and it happens because there's such a passionate group of people that are willing to support these young sportsmen in a very expensive sport. But there's more Scott Dixons to come.
Certainly is. Great to see you again, Steve.
Thanks, Dave.
Well, here we are, Callum Hedge. Indy Next race has just finished. Not one of the better races, but it doesn't really matter. In my eyes, you've done things pretty proud this year. You've done a whole season. You've visited ovals. You've done all sorts of stuff. Great year, mate. Great year.
Yeah, it's been one of those ones where from the start it was just an uphill battle from day one of arriving in America. January 5th, I was homeless, had 2 suitcases, bugger all money. Started off with my appendix and stuff like that, moving on to some really good results and some super highs and a lot of super lows. So the last 3 races have been pretty low. We've had a lot of bad luck, especially in that last race just then with some pretty average driving standards going into turn 1 there. So sometimes you can't help that, but big thanks to everyone who made this happen for me. Honda, Tony Quinn Foundation, Giltrap Group, and Steve Horn standing over there to my left. I couldn't be doing it without them.
I think you should be very proud of the fact that you've competed at pretty much the highest level in this game over here. And year 1 is always going to be a learning year. You know, like when you look at the categories that you've come from, they were big. But this is another notch up, isn't it?
Yeah, it's another step above what I've done before. I've raced against some very good guys, some very talented guys. But I haven't raced too much in America, so not only adapting to the racing and single-seaters with my first full-time only single-seater season I've ever done. Just getting used to living in America is different now.
Yeah, it's certainly different. There's a lot of junk food up here too, which you'd be staying away from because you're an elite athlete.
Yeah, I actually do eat. I do eat fairly well. I try to cook as much as I can.
Good man.
One thing I never cheap out on is food.
Good.
I always buy good food.
Oh, we're really proud of you, Callum. You've done a great job this year. And there's plenty of people at home that'll be watching this, people from the Elite Academy days as well. And congratulations anyway on a great year. Really, really solid year.
Yeah, thanks, DT. We'll be back in 25 for a couple better results.
We'll be here with you, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Well, again, I've found more and more Kiwis here. Joining me now, Peter Johnson, long-time supporter of Scott Dixon. Isn't this an awesome atmosphere?
Yeah, no, it's something out of this world. It's just wonderful to be back at an oval race to see Scott race, and I'm so proud, of what he's achieved over these years.
It's equally amazing that we've got Kiwis spread across this field. The race that we saw this morning here, races to come in the future in the lower categories. New Zealand's batting really well in this game, isn't it, right now?
Yeah, look, Scott was the catalyst for this, but, great to see Scott, McLaughlin on the grid and obviously Callum Hedge. this morning race. No, again, really proud of our Kiwi drivers.
There's plenty of grass and stuff around here. We could get a bit of rallycross going as well, PJ.
Yeah, as well, if your rally cars go good here.
It's always good to catch up with you. It's going to be a great race. Catch up with you later in the day.
Thanks, David.
Well, yet more Kiwis. My old mate, Hunter McElrea. So, Andy, if you're watching this podcast, I found your son, and he's in Nashville, but he's not in a bar, so that's a good thing.
Not yet.
Great to see you in an IndyCar earlier this year in Toronto. That was just an awesome effort, mate.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, it was cool. It was a big goal of mine for a long time, obviously, just to get there. So that in itself was an achievement. Wouldn't have been possible without the awesome crew of supporters I have. And yeah, it was a very, very cool experience.
Well, as we've said, New Zealand, this guy has got so much potential. We've seen him in an IndyCar. You're acing it in the sports cars right now. How's it to have a roof on your head?
It's funny, like it didn't take me very long to get used to the aero screen because I've used to obviously having a windshield in front of me in the LMP2, but it's been fun. You know, I didn't really think that I'd probably drive a sports car this early in my career, but obviously with the way it kind of went and the way my career's gone and the opportunities that was there, it was like I had to take it, and I'm really happy I did because I had a lot of fun doing it. I've learned a lot that's very different to kind of what I've been used to in just sprint racing my whole life and open wheel. So it's been awesome. I've actually probably had some of the most fun I've ever had driving a race car in the sports car. So I've enjoyed it a lot, and we're going racing next week at Indy. So hopefully we can get a win.
Back at that magic place, eh?
Yeah, for sure.
Magic place. There you go. As I said, keep an eye on this guy because we have not seen the last of one Hunter McElrea.
Now joined by the 2024 NTT INDYCAR Series champion, El Campion. Congratulations. Low in 2024, 2 wins, 6 podiums, 13 top 5s, 13 top 10s, 3 NTT P1 awards in 2024. Second youngest 3-time champion right behind Sam Hornish Jr. And certainly the first back-to-back champion since Dario won 3 straight in 09, 2010, and 2011. Talk us through the day. At what point did you find out about Will, and did that relax you, or you try to keep the foot in the throttle? What was the thought process there?
Well, at the beginning, I had to go for it. I had to take some chances on the start, try and make up some room that just starting so far back we needed to gain. So everything was working right. I think we were up to like 15th or 16th or something like that, which was already a good step. And then I saw the 12th going into pit lane, and at first I was like, oh, what strategy are they going to pull off, right?
Going for a 5-stopper or something.
Yeah,
right.
So unfortunately that's not the way. Obviously you want your biggest competitor to go down on the season finale, but at the same time, that's what happened to us 2 weeks ago. So, it's racing, it's motorsport. That's what makes this sport so hard. So, after that, we were just doing our own race, obviously keeping an eye on the 12th car, but just trying to move forward.
Well, there we have it. The 2024 IndyCar season comes to an end. Boy, oh boy, it went right to the wire, which is what we expect with IndyCar. Ultimately, Alex Palou just too strong today, and then tough luck for Will Power with the seatbelt issue. Couldn't wish for anything worse than that for a driver, something that they can't control. Was it a good race here? I think it was an average race. It was single file, which some of us had predicted, but at the end of the day, we still got a great race. And a race right to the wire. For the Kiwis, well, let's look at it and look at their season. McLaughlin became a championship contender, and you'd have to look back and think, gee, what would have happened if St. Pete hadn't happened and the whole saga around that. But anyway, that's in the book. For Dixon, it was a mixed bag of a season, but ultimately it was Portland that decided his fate, and out on before lap 1 even finished. So that was the end of his championship run. For Marcus Armstrong, first time on the ovals, very short run at Indy, only a few laps in before he had the engine issues. But at the end of the day, a complete season for Marcus this year, and that was good. And I think that puts him in contention for, being on the radar. Not quite sure what's going to happen at Ganassi's in the future when they downscale to 3 teams potentially in 2025, and then maybe the introduction of an Indy Next team. But, you know, any of those drivers other than Palou and Dixon are vulnerable at the moment, so interesting weeks ahead for that one. Crowd here at Nashville, it actually ended up being pretty good. I was quite surprised that it built in as much as it did. The track, I think they can make the racing better to turn it into a 2-lane racetrack. Time will tell on that one. But overall, great day at Nashville. Seen a bit of sun, seen a bit of heat, seen some great racing, great championship season. It's been just wonderful to be around. There's so many great people here. To Blair Julian at Ganassi's Fall, he does for us. The Kiwi boys at McLaren, Keith Beck and Brendan Cleve, just awesome guys. Malcolm Finch at Team Penske, another great guy. And of course, Ziggy Paul Harkis at Andretti Autosport, or Andretti Global I should say now. Just all awesome Kiwis. There's many more of them. Steve Goff, great guy at Honda Racing, you know, so we're very lucky to have them as friends and colleagues in the pit area. Can't help but thank them enough. Been wonderful being here at Nashville. There's more to come in racing world as we turn our attention now to the wrap-up of the Formula One season, and of course the kick-off, the New Zealand domestic season as well. But for now, from Nashville, just thanks very much for watching the show. Don't forget to share, like and subscribe. We're on a roll again, so let's keep that roll going. And safe travels to everyone as we head back home to New Zealand here from Nashville.
You're enjoying Racing World. It's brought to you by Perspective Group. It's your global motorsport podcast show brought to you in conjunction with Race Control Magazine.